Somebody come get her, she's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come tip her, she's dancing like a stripper. Hello there, hi. So, as you can see by the title, I'm gonna do the mid-year book freakout tag. Woo! I was struggling to answer the prompts. As I do, I always get so excited whenever I see new tags pop up in my subscriptions, whenever I see people doing these, and I'm like, oh my god, that looks like so much fun. I love watching tag videos. But then when I actually sit down with the prompts and try to come up with books to fit them, I always struggle. I think I just forget. Once I've read a book and I've set it aside back in my bookcase, I forget about it. I forget what happens. I forget everything. So I had to keep consulting my Goodreads to remember what I've actually read this year. But I feel like I did quite a few rereads or books that I was already really familiar with. So I was there were a lot of like rereads in there. So I was trying to come up with books that I feel like are all kind of different. Let's just get into it. Okay, so the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2020. I really didn't know actually what to go for this one. Like, I'm terrible at picking like a favorite. If somebody asked me like what's my favorite book of all time, my mind just goes blank. I don't know. I couldn't tell you a single book. So to ask me my best book you've read so far in 2020, I really don't know. I should have just looked on Goodreads and seen if I had any 5-star reads. I have had a few 5-star reads, but I decided in the end to go for a book that I enjoyed quite a lot. I wouldn't say it was maybe my best book that I've read, the best book I've read, but I feel like it was still pretty good. And that book is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I really enjoyed this book. I feel like the mystery aspect was pretty good. I like the main character. Our main character, Camille, is it Camille? I think it's Camille. I always wanted to say Camilla, but I think it's pronounced Camille. Ventures back to her hometown to not investigate, because she's a journalist, but she's doing some digging or some investigating on the disappearance of 2 little girls in her hometown. We have our family drama. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed Gillian Flynn's writing style. I loved it. Like I say, I don't know if I would say this was the best book I read, but it was definitely a good one. I do love a good thriller. So I chose Sharp Objects. Next was the best sequel you've read so far in 2020. Again, I don't know how I would call this one my best, but it was definitely a sequel. And I decided to go for One of Us Is Next by Karen M. McManus. I've read both of her other books, One of Us Is Lying and Two Can Keep a Secret. Two Can Keep a Secret was a standalone, but this is the sequel to One of Us Is Lying. I really enjoyed it. I remember I just happened to stumble upon it on BookTube. I saw somebody doing a review on it. The review was a little bit mixed, but I decided to buy it anyway, and I'm so glad I did because I really enjoyed it. I actually really liked all the different characters. It was a multiple perspective book, which I absolutely love. I love when we get like different characters with their different sides of the story, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I liked the characters. I was gripped by the mystery. I was shocked in the end. Oh, I think I sort of figured some things out, or I was kind of unsure, but I was really kind of gripped the whole way through, and I really enjoyed it. And then I heard that she was writing a sequel, so I decided to get it. It came out in like January, I think, this year, and I really enjoyed it. The characters are sort of the same. Some of these are like the siblings. It's like the younger siblings of one of them is anyway. It's like the younger sister of one of the main characters from the last book. So they sort of know already what went down, and they're sort of involved because it's their friends and family. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. I think I did, didn't I? Did I give it 5 stars? I can't remember. I really enjoyed it. I thought it kind of moved on from like YA fiction, but after reading a lot more adult fiction lately and adult like thrillers, it's made me realise that actually I do still really enjoy YA thrillers especially. I'm not a massive fan of really like YA romance books, but I definitely love a YA thriller. I feel like there's something quite nice. I think I'm still vicariously living through these kids. I still love like reading about like kids, not kids, but like teenagers in high school, and especially when it's kind of like mystery stuff. It's quite fun, I think. So I still really enjoyed that. Next was a number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. I feel like there's only one book really that this fits, and that would be the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I still have not read it. I have not even sourced it yet. Listen, I don't pre-order books. I've probably pre-ordered one book in my entire life. I don't pre-order. I don't pay full price for books. So you've got to know nothing. Comment if you think I was going to pay full price on Amazon for that book. And I looked around and I shopped around, and the cheapest I could find it was for $9.99 in Tesco. But I do not have a local Tesco where I am at the moment, and we are currently in lockdown. So I was not travelling to go to a Tesco to get a book. No, I was not. So I have not yet got it. I hadn't even sourced it online because, like I said, I'm a cheap girl. I will not pay full price for a book. I also like to get free delivery if I can. I never pay for delivery. I was buying books one day off a site, and if you spent £30 you got free delivery, and you can be damn well sure that I spent £30 exactly on books to get that free delivery. I was not paying for delivery. No sir. So yes, I have not yet sourced it, but I feel like I've carefully avoided all reviews. Thankfully, I've never seen it. I've seen a few like star ratings of what people are giving it, so I don't really know what the tea is with that. I was a little bit unsure about it, but oh well. I'll probably get it at some point if I can find it for a cheaper price. Number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have a book for that because I don't really keep up. I really don't keep up at all with books and what's coming out. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible member of the book community, but I just don't keep up with this kind of stuff. I will buy books as and when I see them. If I stumble upon them in just in a supermarket, or if I'm just shopping around online, maybe I'll see people talking about them and I think that sounds interesting and I'll add it to my list. But if it comes down in price, I'll buy it. If it stays full price, I ain't buying it. So I don't really know, actually. I don't know about that. So I don't really have anything that I'm anticipating to be released the second half of the year. I don't know. No, nothing. Biggest disappointment. There's only one book that was such a huge disappointment for me. The biggest disappointment, the biggest letdown, and that was Hidden Bodies, the sequel to You. If you don't know You was a thriller. What even was that book? You was something, alright. You is now a Netflix series. I only watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes. I never ever got back into it. But I did actually really enjoy the first. I wouldn't say I loved it. I think I loved it. I loved it ironically, but You was actually a pretty good book. It was just, I feel like it was different, and I feel like I was kind of interested in it. The character of Joe was pretty interesting, and I did really enjoy the first one. So when I saw there was a sequel, I decided to get it, and I stumbled upon this baby in a charity shop for £2, and thank God for that, because let me tell you about You Too. Hidden Bodies. This was absolute garbage. I think I gave this book 2 stars. Did I give it 2 stars? I don't think I gave it 1 star, because I have to admit I do like the author's writing style, and I mean it was sort of well thought out, so I think I gave it 2 stars. But let's be real here, this book was trash. I was comparing this book to the second series, which my friend had watched, and as I was reading, I was telling her what was happening. She was like, that didn't happen in the show, and I was like, girl, no wonder, because this is terrible. I really liked the first story. I loved the first book, how it was Joe, and he was obsessively in love with this girl. He was stalking her, and they end up in a relationship, and the way that he carries on, and he killed people. He killed a couple of people, but he only really killed when I feel like he had to. Like, he was sort of like, it was like a boyfriend, not really a boyfriend, but like more like a booty call that his love interest Beck had. He killed him, and then he killed like a friend. This is spoilers. Oh my god, am I just spoiling the whole book? and he killed a friend of hers as well, and I feel like he probably felt that he had to. So it was like, not that I'm justifying death and murder, but I feel like it was okay in that book. Whereas in this one, he was killing people left, right, and centre. We were barely even into the book, and he decided he had to kill somebody, and I was like, oh my god, Joe. No, Joe, what are you actually doing? That's why I feel like this book just, it took what the first book had that was good about it and just sort of amplified it and made it awful. Because he was wanting to kill everybody. Anybody who even looked at his girl, he'd be like, you need to die. You're getting in my way. You just cut in front of me in line. You need to die. It was terrible. It was the way, and then the shift. He went from living in New York to LA. He meets a girl who becomes his love interest, and her whole situation, her whole family situation was wild. Like, she's really rich. She was like I don't even know what they were doing, because like when you first meet them, she's like, it's as if she's like a casting director. She's listening to people doing auditions, but then nothing ever really came out of that. And then her brother, who was called 40, by the way, her brother was called 40, she was called Love, because their parents loved tennis. Imagine being called a number, honestly. And then oh Jesus. So nothing really came out of that, and then Joe and 40 decide to be like screenwriting buddies. They're going to write like a script together. They write it. It gets picked up. 40 takes all the credit. Joe gets really pissed at him and wants to kill him. Their parents are just really rich, and they're partying with, like, Pierce Brosnan is there at a party with them. There were so many celebrity cameo appearances, and I didn't realise that's actually a trope that I don't like until I read this book, where Joe was at parties with Love and her family, and celebrities were there. Oh, I don't want to spoil away, but there's an event, I shall call it, and in that event, a whole bunch of celebrities. It's a funeral. It's a funeral. I'm just gonna say that. There was a funeral for somebody that was branching out into the world of movie making. That spoils it. Somebody dies, and basically every celebrity ever comes to this funeral, and I can't help but feel like if it was some massive movie director in Hollywood that died and all these celebrities who ever worked with him went, I could get that. But not when it's like some really minor person who's just up and coming in the movie world, in the movie making business. I can't imagine that all these names that you're dropping are all celebrities that would go to this person's funeral. Like, if all these celebrities are here, like Megan Fox was there and Kate Hudson and Reese Witherspoon, I feel like it was a bit crazy. So I realised that's actually something I don't like in books. Why am I still talking about this book? But I feel like that's a trope I didn't even know existed, or I've probably made it up. But this is something that I actually don't like in books, which is where celebrities make cameo appearances, written appearances, and they start interacting with characters and they were talking, and I thought, I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, it's different if a celebrity makes a cameo appearance in a movie, because it is them themselves, and even if they're told what to say, they could say it in a way that they would say it, or they could act it up. Either way, it is still them. Even if they're played like a horrible version of themselves or a funny version of themselves, they're still them. Whereas in this is something telling them, making up what these people would say, and I didn't like it. I was like, no, I don't like that. I don't like celebrities, all these celebrities appearing in this and chatting and interacting with the characters, and the way they were going on, I was a bit like, oh no. So I realized I hated that. But this book was a massive disappointment. It was such a come down from the previous book, and it was completely different, and it just felt like a really over exaggerated version of the last book. And Joe just wasn't as good this time. He was getting sloppy with his killings, and he was killing far too much to be getting away with it. I lost count. Okay, moving on from that. Number 6, the biggest surprise. There can only be one book, to be honest, that I could possibly think of for the biggest surprise, and that has got to be Twilight and my love for it. I did not expect to enjoy this book when I read it. I thought, I'm gonna read it. I've never read them before. I'm gonna read the whole series this year, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought I was gonna go into this hating it because I'm not a massive romance fan. I used to love the movies, but I don't really love them anymore. I can't really stand like Bella Swan and that, and the way that she goes on, and K-Stew's facial expressions. But I actually really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I would. There were a lot of moments I was rolling my eyes and I thought this is a bit dumb. But at the same time, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I gave it 4 stars. So it was a shock. It was a big shock. Okay, number 7. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? I wasn't quite sure who to go for this one, and I definitely feel like with me, a lot of the times I'm reading books by authors, I maybe only read like one of theirs. I maybe don't, like if I enjoy a book but I see that they've done others, I maybe will pick them up. But I very rarely have like multiple books by the same author unless I really enjoyed their writing style. But I decided for this one that I was going to go for Gillian Flynn because I read 2 of her books this year. I read Sharp Objects and I read Gone Girl, and I really enjoyed both of them, and I feel like I like her writing style, I like her characters, I like her stories. She's pretty good at thriller writing, so I really enjoyed that. So Gillian Flynn, you go girl. Newest fictional crush. So I have to admit, I was doing a lot of thinking about this one. I have to be honest, I don't really get fictional crushes. Okay, so hear me out on this one. I definitely feel like I do get crushes on fictional characters, but it's always movie characters or from TV shows or video games or even cartoons. I just don't really fall in love with fictional characters the same way. I can't really think of a single fictional character from a book that I've actually fell in love with, because I feel like with a lot of them, like with most books, if I've maybe read the book and then I've like watched the movie, so if I'm rereading the book or if I'm reading the book for the first time after watching the movie, I've got the movie character, I've got the actor in my head, so I'm like, oh, babe. So I definitely found that a lot when because I started rereading the Harry Potter books at the beginning of this year. I read the first 3. I'm taking a little break from them at the moment, and I definitely felt like for some reason I developed a crush on Sirius Black while I was reading The Prisoner of Azkaban. So that was new, but I think it's because I was picturing him in my head. Because he's not got an awful lot of page time. Is that the word to use? I was going to say screen time, but that ain't it. Page time? I don't know. In the actual book, you don't really meet him till near the end, so I definitely think I was just picturing Gary Oldman in my head. So I find a lot of times with books, although I'm pretty good at picturing characters in my head, whenever okay, how does anybody else do this? Because whenever I picture characters in my head when I'm reading a book, it's almost like I picture them, I embody them like as they're kind of described, as I've interpreted it, but they always have like a blank face. Like, so they have like maybe they're described as being like tall and slim with long blonde hair and bright blue eyes. So I picture that fine, but they just have like a blank face. I don't put like an actor's face or somebody I know's face to them or anything like that. I just it's as if they have like no face, so I don't see faces. And when I fall in love with fictional characters, it's probably because they're good looking, you know. But so I kind of feel like I don't really get crushes on specifically book characters. However, I will admit, rereading the Twilight book definitely kind of brought back a love for Jasper Cullen, even though he does not have an awful lot of page time. Have I made that term up? He's not really in the book an awful lot. He's in it a little bit near the end, and I was kind of like, oh, I mean, it was one of those things I was like, wait, I think I had a crush on him when I first watched these movies. I think I did. I don't really remember. I think I was in love with Jasper Cullen. I really don't remember, but either way, I'm in love with him now, so that's Jasper Cullen. That's my new boo. Sorry, Alice, but sorry about it. But again, I feel like that's because I'm just picturing the actor in my head. I really don't fall in love with book characters. That's just me. Okay, next up is newest favorite character. I honestly couldn't really think of what to go for this one, probably because with a lot of the books I was reading lately in the beginning of the year, I wasn't a massive fan of the main characters. There were times where they were just okay, and then there were times where I just couldn't stand them. So I decided, oh, you know what, I actually have 2 for this. Hold on a minute. So I really didn't know about this one because, like I said, a lot of the books I was reading lately, either the main character just really bugged me or I thought they were okay, There was never any that I was like, yes, I love you so much, you're my favorite character, you're my idol, you're my inspiration. What's that Lady Gaga meme? I want to say it. Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique. I've decided on 2 now. But I did really like Queenie from Queenie. I feel like I really saw growth in her. She made me laugh. I really enjoyed her character, and just watching her grow, watching her overcome her situations. She was a good character and I loved her. Also as well, I decided to go for Offred, am I pronouncing that right, from The Handmaid's Tale. I feel like she was a pretty good character. I wouldn't say I had issues with this book. I was a little bit disappointed by it. I think I built it up too much on the hype, and I hadn't seen the show, but I'd definitely seen clips from the show. So I did kind of feel like I was waiting for more to happen, and it didn't, and it ended in a way that I was a bit kind of like, but that's it? That's the end? What? Are you joking? Are you winding me up? Why am I talking about this? No, that's not even the point. But I definitely did. I did really like Offred as a character. I felt like she was pretty good given her situation. So I feel like, yeah, Queenie and Offred, probably 2 of my favourite characters this year. I didn't hate her, and I didn't think she was just okay. I like her. I liked her. So yeah, that's why I'm going for that. And Queenie as well, because she was a good character. I liked Queenie. Next up, book that made you cry. I couldn't really think of any of this because I don't cry at books. I'm a tough girl. I don't cry. I don't have feelings. But I did do a reread of The Hate You Give just the last couple of weeks ago in May. I did a reread of The Hate You Give, and I definitely do tear up a little bit near the end, because I feel like the story is so heartbreaking, and I feel like you don't really get a happy ending. You do and you don't. But I feel like I definitely do get emotional, especially when Star is like joining in with the protests, and she gives her little when she stands in the police car, or when she stands in the car with her mega horn. Is that what's called, a mega horn? And she speaks out. I love Star as well as a character. I should have included her in that because I love Star. But I cried a bit watching. I cried a bit rereading this book because I forgot how much I loved it, and I feel like it's so good. It's so good. Oops. Okay, book that made you happy. I decided just again to go for Queenie because I feel like, although it didn't saying it made me happy probably is not the correct thing to say. It didn't really make me happy, but it did at the same time. By the end, I was quite happy, just kind of seeing how everything was playing out. I was like, yes, you go girl, you go Queenie. I definitely feel like it did make me happy right at the very end. I was like, oh, like, because I really was unsure how this book was going to end. That's one of the main reasons like I was gripped by it so much, because I was like, oh, how is this gonna pan out? Like, is she gonna find her Prince Charming and she's gonna live happily ever after? Is she not? Is she gonna lose her job? What's the tea? What is the tea? Is she gonna get better? So I definitely feel like I was so gripped by this, and by the end I was really happy with how it ended. I was like, yes, it was different. I feel like it was a bit different. Not, yeah, no, but to me it was a bit different. It was nice to see just our girl picking herself back up again, and she don't need no man to do it for her. It was really good. I really loved Queenie, and I feel like it did make me happy by the end. Okay, number 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I feel like I have a lot of beautiful books. I decided to go for one that I have actually not yet read, but the cover I feel is just beautiful. I'm very picky when it comes to covers. I feel like I love a simplistic design. My most favorite designs is something just like the Twilight books. I have movie covers on mine. I have movie covers on 2 of mine, but the cover were like the hand holding an apple. And also, so like the Hunger Games that I have are just black with the Mockingjay pin. I love that. I love like just simple, elegant, like a black background with maybe like a symbol. I really love that. But I actually really like this. I feel it's really pretty, and I decided to go for the binding by Bridget Collins. I love the colours, I love purple, I love gold, I love it with a key. I just feel like this is so pretty. It's so pretty. I really like this. These are the kind of just simple, I don't like people on my covers either, I don't know why, but I really like this, and it's my kind of favourite colour, so I feel like this is such a pretty book. I loved it. I have not yet read that. And lastly, number 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? None. None. I mean, I said I wanted to do a reread of The Hunger Games for the new one coming out. I also said I want to read the Twilight books for the first time. So I suppose, yeah, I've got the other 3 to read now. I've got the other 2 Hunger Games to reread. But I think that's really it. And that's not really like a must read. So there's not anything that I need to read, but there's a few that I could be reading, should be reading. If I want to read them, I can, but if not, it doesn't matter. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will leave a link down below. I don't know, I was looking for the original video and I couldn't find it. I think it's been privated, so I will just leave a link. I will just leave the questions down below if you want to check this out. So yeah, so thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you in my next one, whatever that may be. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I was gonna say Snapchat. I don't have Snapchat. Well, I have Snapchat, but you can't have it. Yeah, follow me on Instagram if you feel like it. It's Laura_loves_books, or follow me on Twitter. It's Laura T Books. I never plug my social medias, but I'm plugging it now. Is that the word to use? Plug something. All of the glamour and all of the fame, people are gonna remember your name, gonna love you as you are. Thank you for watching. What is this? I'm rambling now. Goodbye. Oh, I should also say, like, this is a tag video, but nah, don't need to say that. Bye. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu.